Today is another public holiday in the country commemorating the birthday of His Majesty the King. The Thaiger would like to wish His Majesty the best on this special occasion. We also would like to thank our new Thaiger legend, Emilio Yacine, for supporting the channel. We really appreciate your viewership and kind support. Now, you can be a Thaiger legend as well by hitting that join button to support the channel. Okay, on to the news. An optimistic Thai Prime Minister claims the country's worst COVID-19 outbreak since the start of the pandemic should be over in 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 4. General Prayut Chan-o-cha was addressing a cabinet meeting yesterday and has instructed all relevant agencies to keep the public updated on the crisis. I think it's been the other way around, with the public having to remind the government of the severity of the situation. Thailand has continued to report new cases of 5-digit figures for over 10 days now, with COVID-related deaths regularly over 100 and nearly 1,000 people currently on ventilators in Thai hospitals. Today, the kingdom has reported another record high of 16,533 new infections and 133 COVID-related deaths. The health ministry says that the current restrictions, including the curfew in Bangkok and dark red zones, will be reviewed in 14 days, and a decision made based on that situation at the time. Following yesterday's reports about 68 people in Pattaya arrested for drinking at bars and restaurants, another 12 people were arrested last night at an underground room as part of the latest Pattaya bar raid. The 12 suspects were allegedly drinking alcohol, which Pattaya police reminded people it is a violation of the current emergency decree. The Nong Pru City Police raided the Fat Boys Bar and Grill around 8 p.m. Police had received complaints from apparently concerned citizens that foreigners and Thais were secretly gathering and drinking alcohol in an underground section of the bar. Police maintain that the rules are not intended to punish people, but rather to protect the community, and that if everyone follows the rules, everything can get back to normal faster. Yes, sir. It was not stated if the bar proprietors would also face legal action. The Phuket Sandbox is still on, but the uptick in coronavirus infections now poses a threat to the tourism experiment. Before the July 1st opening, the governor said it would reconsider the travel scheme if cases exceeded 90 COVID infections over a 1-week period. Over the past week, the island has reported 125 new infections. With the weekly case count exceeding the government's threshold, new restrictions have been imposed and will be in place until at least August the 2nd. This includes the major central shopping center being closed for alleged cleaning purposes. Gatherings of more than 100 people are prohibited on the island, and people must practice social distancing at markets and walking streets. Restaurants must now close at 9 p.m. The Phuket governor, Narong Wunsiu, claimed that the numbers are not a factor to discontinue the sandbox. He said that infection rates in Phuket remain low in comparison to other provinces, and 70% of the population in Phuket has been vaccinated against the virus. Meanwhile, the president of the Tourism Council of Phuket says that with the uptick in cases, they are reducing local activities. He added that authorities will also impose more restrictions on travel and other measures before deciding to suspend the sandbox program. Despite the uptick in cases, the Ministry of Tourism and Sports plans to revise the conditions on the scheme and to cut the mandatory stay on the island to 7 days. Under the sealed routes proposal, travelers would be able to go to 5 other provinces after 7 days in Phuket. Currently, travelers need to stay on the island for 14 days and undergo a COVID-19 test before traveling.
It's time to join the conversation. Thaiger Talk is our forum where you can share your thoughts and comments about all the news stories, as well as just about anything happening in Thailand. Just scroll down under any Thaiger story, click on Thaiger Talk, register, and you're in. It's time to join Thailand's fastest scoring forum. So jump in and be part of the Thaiger Talk conversation.
The story of two Thai girls who woke up to find their 44-year-old mother dead in their bedroom, possibly due to COVID-19, has grabbed public attention and throwing a new attention on the death toll of the current wave of cases, where more than 4,000 people infected with the virus have now died. Medical examiners have not declared the cause of death, but her daughters tested positive for COVID-19. The children are now under state care. 3 days before her death, mother Apaporn had severe symptoms of chest pain and breathing difficulties. Reports say the mother was also coughing up blood. She shared a room with her daughters, 9-year-old Tanyaporn and 11-year-old Samaporn. With her condition getting worse, the mother apparently told her daughters to go to an orphanage because she was dying. On Monday morning, Tanyaporn and Samaporn woke up and found their mother dead on the floor of their rented room in Samut Prakan's Bang Pli district, southeast of Bangkok. A video of the two girls watching their mother's body being taken away was widely shared on social media, drawing both empathy and outrage from the public. Officials say the caretakers are now in search of immediate relatives to take on the care and welfare of the girls. There were scenes of overcrowding reported at Bangkok's Bang Su station yesterday as people rushed to try to get a vaccine before the walk-in registration ends. The rush was sparked by the announcement that walk-in registration for the elderly ends this Saturday. The following day, registration opens for everyone over the age of 18, but there will be no more walk-in services. People from other provinces took advantage of the public holidays this week and decided to travel to Bangkok in an attempt to get vaccinated. The center was accepting walk-in appointments for people over the age of 60, as well as people from other provinces who had made an appointment. However, a number of people were turned away due to not meeting the vaccination criteria. People could be seen begging officials for a vaccine dose, while others asked those already waiting if they could pretend to be their caretakers in the hopes of being vaccinated as well. More than 200,000 Thai prisoners have been granted a royal pardon as part of His Majesty the King's 69th birthday, including 35,000 inmates who will be released on parole, while many others will be given a reduction in their sentences. The 35,000 inmates who will be paroled are spread across 143 Thai prisons and are eligible to be released under the new royal decree. Well, that's all for today's rather bleak reports. My heart genuinely goes out to those who are suffering from the current situation, and I really hope that the Prime Minister's optimism that the pandemic should be over in 2 to 4 weeks is based on a real action plan, because it's times like this when the country really needs a strong and competent leader who is true to his word. Ideologies aside, I really hope that you succeed in what you're doing for the sake of all of us. Thank you everyone for watching, and Sawadee krap.